Hello everybody, it's me, Hollow Knight. I'm back for another CNA. I'm doing a commentary and analysis in the year 2024. It's crazy. Anyway, Dark Glyph had a 603 that I called dibs on. It's a long story that is not very long. That's a good quote. But anyway, I wanted to try something new with the CNA, and that was to try and explain everything you'd want to think about when speedrunning SI and make it easily digestible for somebody who hasn't run the game before. So that way you can tell how good of a run this is without needing tons of ingrained SI experience, hopefully, anyway. And you can come away from this video learning something, whether it's you're getting better at the game because of what you took in, or you can see how other people may think about something. I don't know. You get it, right? Hopefully. But anyway, I'm not going to waste too much time. We're going to just hop right in. I don't think there's any audio. Anyway, this is the seed right here. So running this seed, I see the vision, like ladder being right here, and this sand here might indicate water. And also, fun fact, facing the tree, since it's first input, that's the absolute fastest start you can possibly have to a run, is facing a tree, because you can just press the button and hit it. So every time I see that, I usually say, screw it, I'll run it. So, yep. I'm hoping nothing goes terribly wrong. I've never seen this, by the way. Like, this is my first watch through. And I just, like, saw the first few seconds. I like that, like, table menu immediately, by the way. Of course, ladder's right there. Of course, there's water right there. There's also a bunch of stone up here, though. So, if you're a runner of SI, you're probably thinking, like, okay, there's all this cool stuff, and I'm seeing the stone. Do I want to do it on the surface or in the cave? I'm going to put a little thing on the side, which is sort of a route, like a little like arrow to arrow of stuff you need to get and the in menuing that you need to do for the run. But basically, you're getting 5 wood here at the start of the run, and that's to make a pickaxe. You then want to make a stone bench with a pickaxe, which is 20 stone. You can do that up here because there's stone up here. But other people like to do it in cave because then you can get other resources in cave with your pickaxe while also getting stone. But either way, because of the start here, you can just choose either one you want. There's no pressure, really. Um, got 5 exactly. Nice. There's the wooden pick. It likes to check cave. Now, I do want to talk about this cave here. It's a pretty terrible cave, all things considered. Not that, like, you couldn't run this, but it does suck. With hindsight, you could easily mine this one and get access to the iron you'll need during the run, and you'll still have like a bunch of Jamors you can hit in and out of ladder really fast. So you probably want to target this one. If you target this one or this one or this one, that's also acceptable. You're opening things up, but this one in particular opens you up to iron, so I'd probably do that. We'll see if Darkglyph does it or not. But yeah, you're probably going to be doing a ton of your zombie stuff on the surface, considering that. You can also see that there's a massive stone mound here. I like that, by the way. I'm gonna assume it was intentional, but spotting this 2 zombies right here, or at least this zombie, and then just saying, "Nah, I'm good." That's you better get good at doing like ladder stuff to avoid zombies and all that. Avoiding zombies in general is a skill for early game that you just need. But anyway, we are approaching the point where the stone bench is crafted. Hopefully not a 3 or 2 here. Well, that's rough. How does he handle it? Just walks up. Okay, sure. If you're wanting to avoid a scenario like this for the record, there's a couple things I probably would have done differently. For one, there's a ton of stone up here. If you're wanting to make it on the surface, you probably should get at least a few of these pieces of stone. Like going into the cave, checking it, that's fine. Then you probably mine these 2, and then you go up here for a little bit, and then you try to mine these 2 last, you can go to the wood bench. It means you don't have to make this, I'm presuming, trek back and all that. Now you can see that the bar still isn't full yet. That means that you're not losing time yet. But it was full a little bit before. Like, it was full here. That's why you lost time. It was right here. So, I wouldn't recommend mining everything around the ladder first. If there's other stone around, I'd recommend getting it before going to the table. But for the most part, I mean, what? That lost you 0.7 seconds or something? It's not really that much of an issue. This I'm struggling a little bit more with. I don't hate it, right? You want to make stuff on the surface. I get it. And that's completely valid, completely possible. But what I'm noticing here is that you made it, right? And you're basically already full. You want to avoid doing that as much as possible. If you're wanting to do everything that stops your bar from filling, just keeping yourself active, you're probably better off at least putting the stomach up here, crafting the pickaxe, going down the ladder after you placed it, like maybe here. Like here, you try and like place it here, walk back to the ladder, and then go to like mind you more a little bit or something, then come back up and do your tools. Completely like manageable and fine, and you'd be just fine. But you didn't do that, which is fine because that's probably not something that goes through your mind all the time. But there is an alternative thing, which is that you have a zombie to deal with here. Let me see if you could have seen that zombie beforehand. Right? Like, I want to make sure you could have seen it. Yeah, you could see it. You could see it. So, if you wanted to stay up here and you wanted to do the pickaxe, I'd recommend going through here. Because, for one, even if there's a zombie up there, this will block it off. So you just don't mine this or this, and you can mine all the stone you want here. This zombie can't hurt you unless it walks all the way over here, which is annoying, but by the time you're walking back to the table, you're probably going to be making your sword, and you might get hit like 3 times or whatever. I would recommend doing that, so you wouldn't have to do this and waste more time. Ooh! Ooh! Huge preach, huge preach. You noticed your bar was full, decided to mine some Jamor. That's perfectly fine. You played this pretty well considering, but you were probably a couple rungs down on the optimal chain, either just immediately going down the cave or going through here. But I will still applaud you because that was pretty quick thinking on your part to do that, and I like to call that out. I think it's a good thing to do that. Back to the graph, we are now at the tool stage, which means that you don't do the armament, so let me go back real quick. All 4 of these tools will need to be used for the next probably 4 minutes. So you need to keep what all 4 of these tools need to get in mind. The materials, whatever, right? You need to keep in mind the stuff you've mined, the stuff you've chopped down, the stuff you've stabbed to get, and the stuff you've dug up to get. And that part, put it on screen. We'll keep track of all the stuff that you've completed throughout the run, just to be a nice little handy dandy thing. Also worth noting though, that I think early in menu crafting is better. Like crafting your boat piece by piece by piece, segment by segment by segment. It's probably better than doing it all at once at the end. I don't know if you did that or not, but we'll keep track of that too. You first go for sand. Perfectly fine. You want to stay on the surface, so you go for some sand. That pickup was obviously just by execution and nothing worth hating, but that was worth hating. So I think the best way to generally remember where your tools are is just remember the last 2 things you did, and the other 2 you'll be able to look at when you open your menu. If you know which tool's directly beneath the tool you're using, you're going to be okay. I think. Like, you'll generally be able to recover from weird menuing if you remember the one below it and the one you're on. You're currently on shovel. You just used your pick to get everything, so if you're going for your pick, it's the one right below you, because SI pushes something to the top when you're using it, and it will remember the order of things you've used from most recent to, least recent, I guess. So, yeah. It's kind of an... Oh, no, you did go get it, and then you open it again. Oh, I guess you want to menu everything to the top, actually. I won't hate it. It's a pretty, scuffed way to do it. I think it's better muscle memory to do that right when you craft everything, but if you want to get everything to the top, I won't knock it. Here's zombies, though. Nice back away, I guess, and, yeah. I probably would have pushed further to try and get that stone, but it's literally a piece of stone. Who cares? Your menuing speed's a little slow, but that's just an execution thing, so I won't be judging it too harshly. Nice job chopping down the tree. Alright. So, I like that you, are doing good tree chopping forest stuff to do. My brain. Let's go back here. So, you may have spotted the zombie up here. Probably not. You definitely spotted it here, though. And it's good practice to not just immediately go and try to kill the zombie, but instead just hang around near it, hope it walks towards you, so you have to waste less time to kill it. And you do just that. You go over here, mine these two trees, and getting that wood, that zombie gets aggroed, so you kill it. Awesome. Now, generally with wood, you're wanting to go to open space somewhere. Like, you want to achieve finding zombies with it. You just like chopping down a bunch of wood here to get it crossed off is not necessarily a good strat. I mean, like, it's not necessarily slow to go get all your wood immediately, but it leaves you less opportunities to reset for zombies, which are going to be hard to get. So I'd recommend not doing that. Hollow Gamma here, to make a quick little addendum to this. You can make chopping all your wood work. Like, what you did maybe could work in some scenarios, but you shouldn't make it a habit. Like, you will make an open area for zombies to spawn. It's very convenient, very cool, very awesome, that sort of stuff. But the reason that getting all your wood in one go is rough is because usually you want to go in and out of ladder a few times, not collecting all your wood, so that way you can get more resets in, find more zombies to EBM with trees towards to kill, and it's just generally better. But if you make a huge open area for zombies that can spawn and you have sand nearby, you can shovel towards them instead, so you can make it work. And this siege, you could have made that work. So it's not a blunder to do that here, but again, it should be a habit. Hollow Gamma out. You're also one short on the wood. I hope you remember that. You are one short on the wood. We'll see. Anyway, goes for this one, because I think that's what you mined before. Double check, yeah. Which is fine. You were in panic mode going for that one, so I can't really like knock you having to mine that one now. That'd just be really dumb. And you don't chop down a tree yet. You might want to save it, but you might have also forgotten. Who knows? Oh, you spotted zombies. You didn't think you could chop down a tree. Remembering exactly how much wood you have, how much everything you have is obviously going to be something that, you need to get used to. But that's like a play SI more and get better at it thing, so I won't knock it too hard. But obviously you could have, like, gone through and chopped it. Oh, wait. You saved it for the return. Respectable. Though I think going for the sand here probably would have been better. But all of whatever case, I don't think you lost bar throughout that entire thing. Or, sorry, kept it full the whole time. It's just like a consistency thing, I guess. You hang around in a menu a little long, so that, yeah. Alright, never mind, you didn't lose time. Actually, I'm wrong, I'm incorrect, and I'm stupid. I think you could have even saved this, like, my brain. You could have saved the tree as long as you wanted to, really. That's wild that you did that. I'm just going to let that replay, because that was insane to wait that long. But generally good. I mean, again, it's not the most optimal one to go for, but you also might want to shovel for sand, and it's perfectly fine to go for that. So, of course, killing some zombies up here. I actually kind of like how I've cleaned out this area. I was against it to start, but I see the vision here. I think you probably should have had an easier entrance to it, though, so you don't have to, like, go all the way around. That usually is just bad. Looks like you realized that during the run and are currently fixing it. Though I wouldn't have chosen those to mine. I probably would have went for the one wide. Maybe you could have done down here, but after you mine these two, maybe would have gone over, mine one of the other ones or something, but that's just me. It's all sand, so you can always EBM it if you need to. Yeah. Get Nicker, shoveling, doing a great job. Having a whale of a time right now. Looking great. You're doing a little bit more sand than I think is necessary here. I think you literally just walk into ladder as soon as you can. Hopefully you remember that you were mining this one and this one too. It looks like you're going fully for the mine, which I don't know if you do that for one zombie. Like, I don't think it's really worth it, but you're getting Forge Immort at least anyway, so you're fine. I think getting all the iron here is probably a better choice, because who knows if you're going to remember. We'll get to cross off something other than just wood. And I'm just going to watch you mine it real quick, Nice and methodically. That zombie's coming. Yeah, you take a good approach. Finish the ore before you finish the iron. I would recommend even going so far as to, after you finish mining this one, go down to this one down here, mine it, and if you want to return home, you can always just mine these two or something, just to check for more zombies, why not, right? But Again, it's small stuff. Leaves one ore to be mined later. Interesting. Interesting. Uh, that was not good sand, but I'm gonna try and maybe make it better. See, at this point, you have so much bar, that sand is not worth it. It will lose you more time. You can shovel 3 times in the time it takes to go over here and shovel this one, and one sand guarantee is nice and all, but you're probably getting 2 from doing this, and if you don't, you have much more area to, shovel later. This one's not worth it, especially because you go back to get it. So, you don't need to collect every single thing that drops. You need to leave a few things behind. This is like star case of why you should do that. Because your bar is full for this duration during this whole time. That is at least a second that that bar was full. And that's a second of time loss, just automatically. Automatically a second of time loss, which is rough. Was it worth it for the extra sand? Maybe. But you could have just gotten it from a roll anyway, shoveling everything up through here. So I don't think that was the right thing to do. You probably should have just kept going. You would have missed out on the 2, I guess, but the thing with how SI RNG works is that the RNG check for that sand probably wouldn't have changed. We can see if the zombie moves or not. The zombie's still in the process of moving. So the same check would have happened. This sand wouldn't have happened specifically on this tile. This sand would have happened if you shoveled the next few tiles. It would have been the exact same. I just double check myself here. Yeah, if you shoveled like right about here, that zombie was in the process of moving and starting its RNG check, or basically the way SI works, whenever zombies move, it will like re-roll the RNG, like the random number that everything pulls from to do stuff. And you could have done it right here, and it would have been the exact same roll. So this particular piece of sand wouldn't have ended up giving you an extra sand. You still probably would have gotten that piece of sand from shoveling here, not to mention you wouldn't have lost a second and you could have kept going. I think being down a sand in trade for like a second that's fine, because you shoveled like 3 there in a second, and that's more sand to get. So you should probably not pick up literally everything that drops. It's just my recommendation. And of course, you already had everything there. So, you couldn't have mined that piece of stone or whatever to not have time loss. But, it's how you played it. It's how it is. Of course, going here to mine that. I kind of like that recovery, going for the... It could have just not been intentional whatsoever. But you obviously didn't know it would break at this point, right? You had no idea. So, zombies up here, gems are here, so lure it by going for the top one first, then get the bottom one, so that way you can guarantee get yourself that 4th Jamor to complete it, instead of possibly getting 5 Jamor and crying, then killing the zombie, all without, losing too much of your bar. As a matter of fact, never letting it fill. Huge. I then, at this point, go on a minute-long explanation of why it's not the correct Jamor to mine, even though it's entirely the correct Jamor to mine. So instead, let me spend this time telling you why it's the best one that you could have possibly chosen. For one, it's within 1 tile of the ladder. There's only a 1 tile gap if you go up and right a little bit, which means that it's the easiest to go in and out of ladder for. And also, it has an open area that spawns a zombie later, which is very cool and very awesome. You'll see the zombie appear once I unpause this and skip over to when you finish your gyms. So yeah, you got to know when to stop Beta Hollow for making dumbass takes, and this is one of those moments. Instead, Gamma Hollow coming in to tell you that you did a fantastic job, and please do more of it. Cool. You left that sand behind, of course. Then kill the zombie, of course. You don't have much to do at this point. You're currently in decision paralysis, probably. Maybe don't remember everything you got, which is fine. I think it's most helpful to only remember stuff you've completed and not completed. Like, for example, just taking these 3 here, not looking at the the asset that's currently on it. Oh my god. Not currently looking at the flowchart or something. Fuck. That was just completely raw, and I'm not editing out any of it at all. You're welcome, Hollow Beta. Um, but just looking at these three, stone's completed, so you just remember that you completed stone. Sand is not completed, you just remember that you don't have sand. You don't need to remember how many, because that's going to be way too much for you to remember. Just remember it's done or it's not done. That'll probably help you compute a little bit easier. And if it's not done, you just go ahead and do it right away if you can. So in this moment, instead of freezing for a while, like after killing the zombie here, the thought should be at this moment, I don't have sand done, I'm gonna sand. Whether or not it's the optimal choice, like, I mean, you sand to zombie reset, it's Ellie optimal, but whether or not it's optimal, that's just a better way to think. So that way you're always doing something, and it's a nice little stepping stone towards becoming Ellie and Ellie goated, where you know all the optimal stuff you need to do. But that's hard to do, especially when you're at the 6 minute range. So just remember that you don't have a thing done and start doing it. Don't think too hard. Don't strain your brain like you probably ended up doing here. You probably were actually confused about iron, which is why you should have just gotten all of them in that moment. If I had to guess, you were probably stuck on that. Like, do I have all my iron yet? And you did not. Which, for the record, I recommend everybody just get their iron done. It's not worth trying to reset with iron. Just get it done. Get all the iron you need. Gems and sand will get you more than enough resets with ladder. Just complete iron. And as for wood, obviously you need to be careful about that. And stone, maybe. I don't really think you should, but you can. With iron, though, it's probably the only material I 1000% say just don't even bother trying to reset when you are mining iron. Don't bother leaving it anywhere. Get all of it you can in the moment. Don't try and like save some for later because you're going to end up forgetting because it's iron. Do it with specifically iron. You're now shoveling a little bit too much. You're kind of getting too into the groove. You probably want to finish it, which you did. But here's the thing. That could be bad. I know you have a lot of acres, so you're probably like perfectly fine getting rid of sand right now. But you could have EBM'd up through here, or even down through here, to not lose any time. And instead, full bar right here. And you're, of course, getting your furnace, because you didn't do that before, even though you could have before. Fun fact. And you're doing all your in-menuing right here. Beta Hollow doesn't realize how this in-menuing is actually pretty good. It could obviously be better. It could always be better. But I think it's about 15 seconds from the furnace to the boat, which for 6 minutes is pretty fast, actually. Like, you're shooting for around that point when you're going for maybe mid 5 times. You could probably sub 5 just by making your in-menuing like a couple seconds faster with a little bit less hesitation. So, really solid. 603. I say pretty good. I like some of the stuff I'm seeing in your play, but some of it I don't. That was the first reaction over. It's now time for Hollow Gamma to tell you how you can improve and what I think you could do better generally, right? I don't think your menuing is terrible, but you should probably be more instinctual about it. Like, for example, let me find that moment in cave, right? It's a little bit after this. Yeah, right about here. Maybe you had some idea of what you wanted to do here, right? But you just kind of froze up because you're not used to the scenario yet, right? And I think menuing faster comes with time, but if you take what I said before, which is remember the tool you have and the tool you use right before it, and you'll probably be fine. Just, take that to heart, put it in your brain, in your noggin, and I think you'll be just fine. The other two, you can always look at the menu and find them, and you'll maybe lose a little bit longer. Maybe I don't know, half a second to having to look for which one is which. But like, just remembering two of the tools is so much faster, and you could have shoveled here way faster than this. Anyway, another thing I said, just get your iron. It's not worth resetting for iron. Just get your iron. The sand and gem can carry you. And also, small little aside, you like to pick things up as if it's top priority, but it's not always top priority. And I'll go back to the example here, right? Textbook, this is not something you should collect. If you wanted to get it, you should have just got it like first and then shoveled on the like on it and then went back around. It would have, still been there. But you should know to leave some stuff if it's multiple tiles away and it's nothing you can EBM with. Like for example, you can't EBM here because you can't really mine this stone. You've already got all your stone. You also can't get much bar out of only, or you can't get much bar rid of with only one little thing of sand. And so I don't think it's worth it. You should just get these two and move on with your life. Maybe even try and get towards that zombie a little bit. Just fully shovel, empty your bar out as much as you can, then go kill that guy, and then see if you can come back in time and shovel more. But, we'll never know because you kept it full going for this sand right here. And I think that's just a sign that you like to pick things up all the time. And I'm taking that sign and saying don't pick them up all the time. Sometimes it's not worth. This is something you can easily internalize with like wood and stuff, but I think for sand it's a little bit harder. So just keep it in mind. Both wood and sand, to some extent, fabric and maybe stone, but you'll rarely run into that case with stone. Just, it's probably not worth picking up. If it's like gem or it's ichor or it's iron, every one of them counts. It makes sense to pick them all up, but the other ones, not really. So just keep that in mind. And keep doing a couple things that you were doing, like how you kind of had awareness of full bar, so you immediately knew, you immediately routed actually to the shortest possible like walk you'd need to make to empty your bar, which is right here after that zombie was bothering you. It's great. I think you can also work on your overall routing a little bit. Like you should think about the future a little bit. Like if I want to avoid the zombie, how do I do it without saving future me to think about it? Maybe I should go up through here. Or, as I thought about before I recorded the segment and after I recorded the previous one, you could also go up through here and still be protected from that zombie, but it'd chase you afterwards, so that might suck. But, yeah, like, I I think you'll be fine. Just a couple small things to improve on, and you'll see massive gains in your time. And it's something that could just come with playing the game more often, as long as you're like internalizing that small improvements need to be made during runs, and as long as you're making those small improvements during runs that you can see, you're doing just fine. Okay? Your menuing speed and your menuing in general sucks, but everybody's used to suck. I don't want to talk about what my menuing used to look like, but it was terrible. My overworld routing used to be terrible. You haven't seen the water clip where Hollow decided to take a bath for a while. It was going to run slower than this one too. We've all been there. But, that's my advice to try and help you improve a little bit faster. And yeah, this was almost going to be a 30-minute video. Or sorry, a 40-minute video. I managed to cut it down to 30 because Gamma Hollow is based and able to say it in more concise ways. Any other advice that I missed, I'll let other people that want to CNA do it. I'm sure Ellie wants to do a CNA on this no matter what, just to help you. So, yeah. Glyph, this run, honestly pretty good, and I can't wait to see how you improve in the future. And if anybody else wants me to do a certain run, maybe not in this like more edited format, but I would still be interested. I might even do some speedruns where it's like the tree and I do it like a live tally of what the run's doing, what it's trying to do, like what stuff has been crossed off by then. Like what you saw me do throughout the analysis of like my first watch through of it with small edits because sometimes I'm dumb. Like that whole thing where you saw me cross it off. I might do that, but like a run in real time so you can kind of see what runners are thinking about. And maybe like a little text box that's like, EBMing towards this or whatever. I think that might be cool. So I might make that if you all are interested. But you should tell me that you're interested, and you should tell me which run to do that with. Anyway, that's about it. Goodbye.